Let's start off with a user control. So when you create a user control, if you notice that it already created a managed uh, folder and a folder for you. Now this is the proper location for you to put in the place. Now if you notice this structure in here, and if you look at web part visual that you created in here, it's the same location. SharePoint control templates hello world SC. So so now we are sure that this ACX and this ACX is going to go and live in the same place. So that's good. Now in the same way, I'm going to add in some content. Now that's all we have in here, and then we need to go and deploy this thing. Deploy succeeded. So we look at the SharePoint root folder and see if it's already it's properly in place. Here's our. So once you are deployed the solution, you need to find a way to actually put in this ASX control onto SharePoint. So two ways to do that. You can either put it on the master page, or you can put it directly on the page. In this case, I'm just going to put it on a page. So let's get hello world.aspx. Now you have to first register the control. Two ways to do that. If you have an ASCX, you would just need to register a tag prefix and a tag name, and specify the source of it. So the source would be, currently it's going to be placed in control template. So this is a special token to find the SharePoint root, uh, the site collection root, and then from there on control template path. So we're going to use this in our page. So now the path to it may be different in here. This is not the right one. So hello world is C, and hello world. We need to look at the location. Let's look at control templates. And just to make sure the folder is correct. Okay. So once you register the control, you need to find a place to put in the control. And here again I'll just try to find appropriate location, just below the placeholder name. I'm just putting in here. So this should render me the custom control in here. Let's check that. So here's my control rendering. Um, Similarly, we can do a web control. So web control is easy. We just add a class file. Say control and inherit from web control. That's it. So let's deploy. Once done, you need to use the second technique, and which is most commonly used if you look at any page itself. So if you look at the out of the box SharePoint thing, so here's one example. I'm just going to copy this one, put it in here. There's a tag prefix. You can name it anything. Say there's a namespace and an assembly. So the assembly is the four-part assembly. Namespace is the fully qualified namespace of your web control. So how do you find that? So what I usually do is use, if I select to show all files under the bin debug, you have the DLL. I can choose to open it with something called IL spy. which is a free version by community .NET developers. So what you need, the four part name. There are many other ways you can find on net to find this four part name, but since you will ultimately end up using ILSpy so often during a development process, you tend to use one tool to get all information. So this is the one. So take four part name, put it in here. Now the namespace itself. So now we know that the namespace is this the one? Yes, it's a web control. Here's a namespace. You just grab this. Here. Now you have registered it. Let's add it. Now here you need to specify the class name. So let's see if it renders in your UI. Okay, so what happened here is this particular web control is not marked as safe control. So the reason for that is all the other web paths that you have in here are part of SharePoint template, and it made an entry automatically. So we can just verify that in the packages designer, the manifest. So we don't have that entry for this particular thing in there. So it's throwing an error in there. Now to get around this thing, we just take the namespace of this particular web control, go to any of the other web paths that's already in there, and add a new entry. Make sure the namespace is correct in there. Space the one that you just selected. Say OK. And now if I go back to my packages, now if you look at, I have the namespace for the web part. Web part namespace is just hello world. Let's see. So I can rebuild and deploy and refresh. Okay, so I do have hello world from user control, web control, everything shown up in here. Now, is this all that you can do? No, there are a few more tricks. I will show you a couple of more tricks that you can do to add content to